everyone. Welcome to another award-winning edition of the Locker Room Chat. My name is John Williams, and I'm joined by my co-host, Walter Stair. And Walter, happy Thanksgiving.
Well, happy Thanksgiving to you. I can already taste the pumpkin pie and pecan pie, and I've had all the smells coming through my house today, and so I'm already ready to eat.
Is Rhonda cooking?
Oh, yes.
Is
she certainly is. Already doing desserts today, and brined, or whatever they call the turkey, getting it ready to put in early in the morning. So,
that sounds delicious.
Yes, it certainly is. As you can tell, I do tend to eat.
You got to eat, especially on Thanksgiving, and I think I've already had Thanksgiving dinner a couple times at work. Last week we had our Thanksgiving dinner and had leftovers there, and my wife's bought a honey baked turkey.
Goodness.
Been eating some sandwiches, so.
Yeah, honey baked turkey is mighty good food.
But I'm ready for tomorrow, though. I'm ready for round 3.
You better believe it.
But Tennessee basketball playing right now against Butler. We got the live video up here. It's 15-11. Butler playing out in the Bahamas.
Yeah, that's what I understand. And starting the game, Tennessee was extremely slow getting going, and I think they were down like 10-2 or 10-4, and they're picking it up a little bit, thank goodness. But what's still a 6-point deficit.
Yeah, Butler, I was reading about them. They can really shoot the basketball, and they're coached by Thad Matta, I think, longtime coach at Ohio State. And, you know, Butler's always had a good basketball team. Seems like Brad Stevens was there, who coaches the Celtics, or did coach the Celtics.
Yeah, it seems like every year they're in the NCAA tournament, going usually pretty far, and people don't want to be in the same bracket with them.
Yeah, Ball's got their work cut out for them tonight, looks like. But I see you still got your orange on.
Yes, I certainly do. It was a rough go on Saturday, and I'm sorry for all the problems that Tennessee has, but I'm behind them one way or the other. And every now and then you can have a miscue, but that was a very tough miscue, and apparently a little bit of dissension between a couple of ball players, and made a difficult situation that much more difficult against a South Carolina team that really is a lot better than a lot of folks thought or think.
Well, we made them look a lot better.
Yeah,
for sure. I don't really know if I want to talk about it or not.
Well, that quarterback, what was it, last year, the year before last, and then he, of course, transferred, was on Oklahoma or somewhere, and he was going to be a Heisman Trophy hopeful, and apparently that part of his mind woke up or something for that game.
Yeah, 6 touchdown passes, over 400 yards, passing yards. You know, he came in on the season, only had 8 touchdown passes and threw 6 against the Vols, and I don't know what happened. I had some prior obligations and didn't get to see the first of the game, and I turned it on. I think when I first was able to watch it,
you wouldn't have liked it, I will tell you that.
It's like 21-14, and man, I know our pass defense, you know, is pretty bad. We were last in the SEC, but made no kinds of adjustments from what I've listened to a lot of sports talk and people, you know, like yourself. And like I said, I didn't see the game, but did they not make any adjustments?
Not one bit. First to the second half that I saw, I mean, everybody was open, and the one guy went in for a touchdown catch we were about 7 yards away from. Mm-hmm. And it just, the whole thing wasn't right. It's like South Carolina was shot out of a cannon, and we were just sitting there very methodical, like not exactly flat, but we just weren't overly enthused.
Mm-hmm. And it's just weird. You know, I know that you mentioned maybe some of the chemistry on the team with the Jeremy Banks and Hendon Hooker getting into it, and just some team things like that. But the way they play, I don't know if Banks could even, him being there would have changed much of the outcome.
I don't think it would have at all. It just was one of those things. South Carolina played about as good as they could play, and we played about as bad as you could play.
They did look good, didn't they?
Yeah.
And Hooker hurting his knee, torn ACL, and that's just, that's just insult to injury right
And one
there.
of those situations where it was non-contact, and one old guy that I heard on one of the sports shows said it was reminiscent of Jerry Colquitt back in 1994.
Certainly was, and gosh, Tennessee wins out. Probably all they have to do is win, probably get in the college football playoffs. So that's out the door, and
because you had your Ohio State-Michigan game, just made it exactly the right combination that they would have slipped right in there.
And you saw those two games earlier in the day. TCU went on a last-second field goal. Michigan as well won on a late field goal, and
Ohio State, it was very, very close until that weird play at the end of the game that it was a weird sort of interception, and he goes 1 yard in for a touchdown or a fumble recovery. I mean, and they won by 13, but it was really a 7-point game. So
none of those teams overly impressive, and I never thought that Tennessee would lay an egg like that.
We've not seen that since the times of Jeremy Pruitt and Jones and Dooley, but they had quite a few eggs here and there. But
that's a big loss. It's been a great season. I guess you can say great for Tennessee wins over Florida and Alabama, LSU, just big wins like that. Then you get ranked number 1 in the first college football playoff poll, and now you lose to South Carolina and you're out of it, and it's just hard to believe, and just it's been a really good year, but now that loss just puts a damper on it.
It certainly does, and it is a little bit reminiscent, although I think we will correct it and not lose to Vanderbilt. But 2016, when they had a good season going and they ended up 9-4, they would have probably ended up 11-2. And that sort of situation happened. They laid an egg against South Carolina, then they lost to Vanderbilt. I don't see them losing to Vanderbilt even with a second-string quarterback, Milton. I just think that Tennessee's got a lot better character and a lot better overall football team with Heupel as the coach.
Right. Vandy, though, they defeated Kentucky. They knocked off Florida, and they stormed the field. Did you see that?
Yes, they certainly did. And that coach I think he's for real. And I don't know, they were lucky to get him. He's an alumnus of Vanderbilt, and he apparently knows what he's doing.
Vandy's fans stormed the field. It looked like a media day out there on the field. I seen them coming down the steps. They wasn't in a lot of big hurry to get out there, but give them hats, give them props, for coming on the field after that big win for Florida.
And I particularly love it when they beat Florida. That just puts a smile on my face like you just have no idea.
What's going to be the repercussions from this loss, Walter? Somebody's got to take the fall for this. Somebody's going to have to pay. Whether it's Tim Banks, the defensive coordinator, or Willie Martinez, the defensive backs coach, secondary. Something. We've been pretty bad all year on defense, and we wasn't really projected to be the next 85 Bears or anything.
Exactly.
But, Tennessee defense, they showed flashes, this year of playing good ball, especially defensive line. In the LSU game, give up 13 points, held Kentucky to 6. But other than that, our pass defense has been bad all year, pretty much.
And even against Alabama, they bent and didn't completely break against them. I mean, they gave up 50 points, but still, they did what they needed to when they needed to.
But you can say, the talent level of the players, but I'll point to the coaching. I mean, the players are coached to play what they're coach to do. And, you know, I think we got talented players back there in the secondaries. We got good athletes, and I don't know what the problem was. You know, you're trying to keep everybody in front of you the other night, and they just wide open. You gotta make some adjustments there during the course of the game. You weren't getting a pass rush. You gotta do something.
Whether you're in a zone or man-to-man, you've got to adjust and do what you need to. I mean, you can't have guys that are open down there to get the ball 10 yards down and then they go around and dodge people and get another 10 yards. I mean, there was a lot of plays that they were gaining 20 and more yards, and that'll kill you immediately.
Well, I know it all falls back on the Coach Heupel. He's the head coach, and that's where the blame's got to start and end right there. I mean, or stop and end, but you know, Heupel's not going nowhere.
No.
But do you look for Tennessee to make some coaching changes?
Yeah, they're going to have to on defense, whether it be Banks or the defensive coordinator with the safeties and the cornerbacks. I mean, they're going to have to definitely do something.
Martinez, he's already been fired once at UT.
Well,
he was fired back in 09 or 10 or somewhere, I think.
Well, it may happen again.
I know once he was, but they say he's a really good recruiter or whatever, and you know that counts for something too. But you gotta be able to coach your DBs. You know, you gotta. I mean, I ain't never coached a day in my life of football, and I think I could, you know, coach better than that.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean,
I might be able to even suit up and go out there and guard somebody.
I mean, they're just out here. When somebody catches the ball, and there's nobody within 7 to 10 yards of them. There's something wrong. I mean, it really is.
That's coaching. And
yeah.
I just don't understand it. You know, you got all that to play for. You go down and give up 63 points to South Carolina, like the second most in school history, and just, you know, got embarrassed.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I thought at the very first we had a chance to somehow come back early on. I thought, well, South Carolina's come to play, so we're going to have to start coming to play. And the defense just wasn't there the whole night. The offense a little bit tried, but, you know, if the defense is on the field all night, the offense can't do a whole lot.
Right. I mean, we still scored 38 points, and you lose by, what, 25?
Yeah, exactly.
So, I don't know. But we're only going for an hour tonight, so phone lines are open. Question or comment, you want to give us a call. You know, high school football state semifinals coming up, and we're going to talk about that here when we come back. We're going to take our first break tonight, so give us a call. You're watching Locker Room Chat.
At OEB Law, our home is your home. And your family is our family. And down here, family takes care of family. Giving back and helping out whenever needed. OEB Law is proud to be from East Tennessee. OEB Law feels like home.
Talk about the risks associated with the COVID-19 vaccine. But the reality is, it's safer than being tackled by a Tennessee Titan. Give it a shot. Find a free vaccine appointment today at covid19.tn.gov.
Pat Ryan here with Kathy Mae Martin. If you're thinking of buying or selling real estate, then make the right play call and contact Kathy Mae Martin for all your real estate needs. Kathy's 30-plus years of knowledge and experience gives her clients the competitive edge. You know, like me on game day. Pick is up and it's good. Kathy Mae Martin for all your real estate needs.
Earl Duff Pre-Owned Center in Harriman is East Tennessee's best choice for pre-owned vehicle sales and service. Earl Duff is a name you know and trust, and we have been meeting the automotive needs of Roane and surrounding counties for over 49 years. Shopping with us is easy, and we treat our customers like family. From sales to finance to service, we're your one-stop shop for everything automotive. Don't settle for less with your next pre-owned vehicle purchase. Come to Earl Duff Pre-Owned Center in Harriman or online at duffpreowned.com.
We treat you like family at RMG. Bring your junk, cars, aluminum cans. We'll buy it on the spot and we'll pay you a lot. We treat you like family at RMG. Yeah, we treat you like family at RMG. We treat you like family.
Rome Metals is located just off of Highway 27 between Harriman and Rockwood.
Welcome back into the locker room chat, and phone lines are open. If you'd like to give us a call as high school football moves into the state semifinal round, and we've got two teams in the area, Walter, Coalfield, and Anderson County, going to play for a chance to go to the state championship.
Yeah, you've got two very good football teams, Coalfield, which 12-1, Anderson County 13-0, and Coalfield returns to the state semifinals for the first time since 2020 and is seeking its first title game berth since its runner-up finish in 2014. And Clay County is in the semifinals for the first time since 1985 and has never played in a state title game, and should be an interesting football game. But they ended up beating, I think it says later on in here, Gordonsville quite a few times, or two times in the season, and Gordonsville was the only team that defeated Coalfield. So,
Yeah, Clay County defeated them twice, and there you see on the screen Coalfield at Clay County state semifinals. And you'll be able to watch this on the NFHS network, high school sports. I think it's $12.
Yeah.
$12 you can watch it, and then it's good for like 30 days for a month subscription. And you'd be able to watch the state tournament, the state final games there, which will be played next week in Chattanooga. And so Anderson County game, Brad says. Anderson County games on that NFHS as well. Is it 7:30 kickoff?
Yes. Eastern.
Eastern time is.
Since Clay County's in Central.
Oh, okay. It's okay. It's 8 o'clock Eastern. Comes on at 7:30. So you kick off at 8 o'clock. That's Eastern time. Yeah. So yeah.
okay.
I know a lot of Coalfield fans are going down, and Anderson County fans.
Oh, I know a lot, including a lot of my kin are going down. So
Anderson County I talked to one of the coaches, and he used the word whipping, and they did put a whipping on Greenville.
yeah, well, I was
38-7.
glad to see that.
And wow, did you watch the game? I guess.
Yeah, watched that game, and I enjoyed.
And that when Eli Davis made that tackle and jarred that ball loose, and Nick Moog picked it up, scoop and score, went in, and that was pretty much the ball game.
Was there there's like 4 fumbles at least in that game, from what I remember, and from what Packer, those guys said, that they had not had a time in the year that they'd have over 1 fumble, and very rarely did they have a fumble period during the whole year.
And man, what a hit!
Yes, it certainly was.
That was a textbook tackle by Eli Davis, and wow, Anderson County was not to be denied that night.
Well, when you lose to a team that's your nemesis for 7 straight years, and last year they went through difficult year, losing a whole lot of close games, and you're just saying this is definitely going to be our year, and they're putting the pedal to the metal.
Yeah,
doing what needs to be done.
I think they had eliminated them like 3 years in a row in the playoffs. And yeah, they was ready. I thought this was Anderson County. I thought they could get Greenville, and they did it. They're just so balanced,
Well, they certainly are.
Offensively.
And I guess I've got a little bit on what Anderson County has. I mean, when you've got a quarterback who's Mr. Football semifinalist, Walker Martinez.
He's a finalist now. He's one of the top 3.
Do you realize he is 213 for 304 passing, 213 completed passes out of 304 for 3,681 yards and 51 touchdowns.
Right.
That's a resume right there.
What completion percentage is that?
That is well above 67%. I know that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Walker Martinez, quarterback, Anderson County. I think yesterday it came out he was made the top 3 football finalists, Tennessee Titans, Mr. Football finalists, what they call it, and he's up against Marcellus Jackson of Fulton and Gabe Borders of Macon County, and I was told Borders is a sophomore.
Oh, really?
But I'm not 100% sure on that. But and then Marcellus Jackson, he's quite the athlete there for Fulton. But Martinez, I think he's the odds-on favorite to bring that Mr. Football trophy home.
I think you look at it too for what he brings to the table for his team, and he's done so well. And that resume we just talked about of what he has all season long, I mean that's quite impressive. And he's got the receivers, Bryson Val, who's a signee to a major college, and Braden Miller is a real good wide receiver. Tate Russell and Eli Braden, I mean, they all have anywhere from 495 to 948 yards. I mean, they've got a lot of 4 very good wide receivers.
They got a stable of, or not a stable, but a slew of wide receivers.
Oh, yes.
Martinez can choose from, and plus offensively, rushing, Gavin Noe, he's missed a lot this year with his hamstring, but Nick Moog, we've really not talked about him much, and I know you got some numbers on him.
Right, 1,268 yards rushing, 17 touchdowns, and even 415 yards receiving.
Right, and he's the man in the backfield right there. I mean,
he certainly is.
He's one of, they got Noe and Moog, and it's quite the 1-2 punch. And
oh yes.
And you got that, and you got their passing game. It's just they just got it. And Martinez, he's so accurate. I've watched a couple of these games in the playoffs last couple of weeks, and he just puts the ball on the money.
I saw one of those passes down there. I told my wife, go back and check that again. I mean, it looked like a college pass of a guy that was a junior or senior. It's just right in, perfect. I mean, absolutely perfect.
And 51 touchdown passes.
Yeah, I mean, that's quite impressive. And, you've got Val, 948 receiving yards, Braden Miller, 946 receiving yards, Tate Russell, 501 receiving yards, Eli Braden, 495 receiving yards, and of course, as I told you earlier, Moog with 415. So I mean, you could throw to 5 different receivers.
And defensively as well, pretty stout. I know Moog, I saw where he's got 94 tackles, and you got Moog, and you got Noe at linebacker, and Eli Davis, and plus all the other guys. I don't want to start naming names, leave somebody out, but their defense, they're not all just offense.
Exactly. Gavin Noe, who's, of course, had that hamstring pull for a lot of the season, he still had 90 tackles and 10 tackles for loss. And the Andrew how do you pronounce his name, Mayer or Meyer?
Meyer.
Yeah, Meyer, 110 tackles and 20 tackles for loss.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned him. They got a lot of athletes on that defensive team, and it's just they're going to Red Bank Friday night, and Red Bank's 11-2.
They certainly are. They've had a pretty darn good season themselves.
They've not played the schedule Anderson County has. Not many teams have, and that was sort of the knock on AC was their schedule. But the last couple of years, they upgraded it. And,
oh yes.
It's paid off here. Helping them defeat Elizabethton and Greenville, and it should pay dividends. Friday down at Red Bank. Red Bank's got a lot of tradition. I think they won the state back in 2000. I think I was reading, and they've had some good players down there. I saw Gerald Riggs Jr. I went down there and watched him play. He played back in the mid-2000s, early to mid-2000s, and they got some good tradition there at Red Bank. It won't be no cakewalk going down there. Should be a good game. Be interesting to see Anderson County, coming off that big win. They got the big green elephant off their back, and
exactly.
See how they respond. And they're back in the state semis, first time since 1996. And when their head coach Davey Gillum was a star running back, and I think he still got some rushing records there at Anderson County.
And I guess that was under Coach Larry Kerr at that time.
Certainly was. So it's just a great achievement for the Mavericks. I know they want to win that gold ball, though.
Oh yes.
They want to. They're right there. They're on the cusp of it, and. I think in '96 they lost to Halls. That's sort of interesting. Kerr come from Halls.
Exactly.
And then Halls knocked AC out that year in the state semis, and they went on to play, I believe, Pearl Cone with Big John Henderson, and Pearl Cone ended up defeating Halls for the state championship. But AC's right here. You look on that other side of the bracket. Haywood is 13-0, and Pearl Con is standing there again. They're 11-2. I don't know anything about those two teams.
Yeah.
So.
But Anderson County, they've scored more than 30 points in every game this fall, and it's averaged 43.1 points per game. And they've only played one road game, Scott County, October 28th, in effect in the last 2 months.
Right.
And that's quite amazing. That shows the fact that in the playoffs, they've got to play at home until this week, and then, of course, the way their overall schedule worked out. But Red Bank, and something about them, after a 14-0 Week 10 loss to East Hamilton, Red Bank responded and eliminated East Hamilton 28-6 last week. Only one Fayetteville scored more than 14 points in a game on Red Bank this season. The Lions only surrendered just 10.2 points per game, but scored just 21.6 per contest. So this is going to be an interesting game offensively and defensively, with the Mavericks averaging 43 points a game, and they only give up 10.2 per game.
They're pretty stingy.
Exactly. So
yeah, something's got to give there.
Certainly does.
I've noticed Red Bank all year long. They've had a good team. They've been ranked up there in top 5, and so we'll see. That should be a great matchup. Right now, we're going to go ahead and take another break, and we'll be back and talk about some more games. So stick around. You're watching Locker Room Chat.
If you've been injured in an accident, let OEB Law fight for you. We will fight the insurance companies every step of the way. Call OEB Law today and turn your wreck into a check.
Every holiday season, you make plans. On Thanksgiving, you plan a meal. On Black Friday and Cyber Monday, you plan to get good deals. And on Giving Tuesday, plan to give. There's so many ways you can make a difference. Volunteer, help your neighbor, give to charity, say thank you to someone who has changed your life. This Giving Tuesday, let's show how big we can go and how much we can give. On Thanksgiving, we give thanks and demonstrate our gratitude. On Giving Tuesday, we give back and demonstrate our generosity of spirit. Join the movement. Be part of the change. Celebrate and encourage giving.
On-Site Care, now located in Kingston, is accepting new patients. Nurse practitioner Candace Templeton has over 25 years of healthcare experience in offering management of chronic care conditions. On-Site Care offers free sports physicals for established patients. Plus, On-Site Care offers hormone replacement therapy with compounded pellets. On-Site Care accepts most major insurance plans and offers affordable self-pay options as well. Call 865-285-9588 to schedule an appointment at On-Site Care.
Earl Duff Pre-Owned Center in Harriman is East Tennessee's best choice for pre-owned vehicle sales and service. Earl Duff is a name you know and trust, and we have been meeting the automotive needs of Roane and surrounding counties for over 49 years. Shopping with us is easy, and we treat our customers like family. From sales to finance to service, we're your one-stop shop for everything automotive. Don't settle for less with your next pre-owned vehicle purchase. Come to Earl Duff Pre-Owned Center in Harriman or online at duffpreowned.com.
Roane Metals Group has been serving East Tennessee for decades. Locally owned and operated with convenient hours of operation. Roane Metals buys all types of scrap metal. Nothing's too big or too small. Still have that clunker sitting around? We've been buying them for years. Roane Metals Group are specialists in industrial scrap. We have what it takes to get any size job done. Roane Metals urges you to recycle responsibly. Scrap with only licensed dealers. A member of the TSRA and the ISRI. Roane Metals Group. Turn that scrap into cash.
If you've been injured in an accident and you've been getting a cold shoulder, then let OEB Law put the insurance companies on ice. As many times as it takes. Call OEB Law and leave the icing to the professionals.
Welcome back in the locker room chat. My name's John Webb. I'm joined by Walter Stair, and we're talking football here mainly, but Tennessee basketball is leading at halftime, 28-23. So if you're taping it, I'm sorry I spoiled it for you. But the ball's up by 5 out in the Bahamas in the battle for Atlantis. And big game Friday night, Cofield at Clay County. You can watch that on the NFHS network. And you see that, only $12. You can watch that game, give you a subscription for like 30 days and watch all kinds of games after that for 30 days. So interested in that, just look that up. And talk about another former Cofield player, Walter Parker McKinney, setting all kinds of records, I think, out at Eastern Kentucky, and recently named the Atlantic Sun Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year.
Well, great.
He's a quarterback. Played at Cofield. I think his last year was 2017, and he's been out Eastern Kentucky, and he got an extra COVID year, but he's a starting quarterback, and this year he has 3,500 yards passing, 28 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, but he also had 372 yards rushing and 8 TDs. So he's named the Offensive Player of the Year in the A-Sun, and he was just outstanding athlete at Cofield. You know, he was playing basketball in 8th grade. I don't know if he was on the football team. In 8th grade, he probably was, but his career numbers, I looked up his career, and like right now he's like over 9,000 yards passing, 69 total touchdowns, passing, 31 interceptions. Rushing, he's right at 1,500 yards rushing and with 20 touchdowns. So just a great career there at Eastern Kentucky.
Oh, yeah.
For the Colonels, I believe they are. And he's getting talk for the NFL draft. You know, he probably will get drafted. He's about 6'3", and
that's good height.
Yeah. You know, I see some of these backups come in the NFL nowadays. They look like second-string pee-wee quarterback.
Yeah.
And they're professional players.
Well, if you're tough and you can get the job done, I guess.
You know, you got your starter in the NFL, and your backup sometimes has to come in, but some of them look totally lost when they come in.
Yeah. Well, they can't be like back in the old days that Don Strock or Earl Morrill comes in and saves the day. I mean.
Right. It's just, I was watching the Chargers game a couple of weeks ago, and Herbert went out. He got hit in the head. He had to go out for a little bit. He got to sit out the whole drive or whatever. He was all right, but they put the backup in. I forget who it was. Might have been Chase Daniel, which I've seen him play before. He set all kinds of records there at Missouri, I think, when he was there. But he come in, he was like as soon as he got the ball, he couldn't even trying to get rid of it. You know, he just like. You think those backups could be ready to play? I mean, they're professional athletes. You come in there, it shouldn't be like you're just in shock or something. I mean.
Well, to me, you need to be over there being limbered up all the time and taking hikes and I mean, throwing the ball and doing everything you need to do to be ready. I mean, you could be ready, have to go in at a moment's notice. I mean.
I know those defenses in the NFL, they're tough, some of them, but you're getting paid to be a backup quarterback, and you come in there and you look like a lost ball in high weeds or something. It's crazy to me.
One thing I was going to ask about a little while ago, it's the first time, and I don't mean no disrespect to Bob Kessling, because I think he does a fine job, and to follow John Ward is a tough thing to do, and I commend him for being a pretty good play-by-play person. But this is the first time I can actually say I miss him on a broadcast. Where is he in the Bahamas?
I know he's took this trip off, didn't he?
Well, actually, I'd be heading to the Bahamas if I was him.
Yeah. Well, I guess he'd be down in Nashville tomorrow or Saturday.
Oh, that is right. For the Tennessee Volunteer football team.
I'll tell you who I like announcing is Stevie Hamer.
Yeah, he does a good job.
He helps on some of the broadcast, Tennessee basketball some, and Lady Vols, and I like listening to Hamer.
I liked him as a ball player back when he was at UT. He was a class act.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite players. Got some foot problems, but he went on to the NBA. Celtics, I think he got drafted by the Celtics. Yeah. And, I met him a few times and talked to him. He's an outstanding person. He's really smart. I enjoy listening to him.
Oh yeah.
He usually does the color, analyst for basketball, and he does a good job. I think it's Brian Rice taking Kessling's place there in Bahamas, and you got Bert. You got Bertle Camp there.
Mr. Bottom.
Money?
Yeah, money. That's what it is.
Money. And the Vols are up by 5, 28-23 halftime. So that's good. I think we win. I think USC beat BYU, so we would play them. I don't know if they play tomorrow or Friday.
Okay.
Or when it is. And then Kansas won on the other side of the bracket. They beat NC State. Yeah, I think Wisconsin beat Dayton by 1 point, 43-42.
That's a low-scoring game. Well, so far the first half of the Tennessee game's low score.
Mm-hmm. But I just wanted to mention Parker McKinney. It's really an outstanding career. And congratulations to him getting Conference Offensive Player of the Year Walter, it's look back some of the games of last week in high school football. We'll start with the Class A and Cofield. They ended up winning first time it was 50. They won by 50 over Oliver Springs and held the Bobcats scoreless both games. They scored 56.
Exactly.
This game. I thought it would be Oliver Springs would it'd be more competitive game the second go around, but
yeah. I thought it'd be probably something like 42-21, and that it would close the gap some. But Cofield pretty much put it on them the same as they did the first time.
Cole Hines, outstanding quarterback. You got some numbers on him, Cole Hines?
Yes, I do. As I get back to my chicken scratch over here.
We've had Cole on the show here a couple times from different sports.
1,926 yards passing and 31 touchdowns, 366 yards rushing.
So 1,900 yards passing and how many touchdowns?
31 touchdowns.
Pretty good season, and he's got a lot of weapons too, don't he?
He certainly does. Jade, is that Jade's or Jaden Bunch? I'm not for sure.
Jaden?
Yeah. 10.1 yards per carry on the year, and on 52 attempts. He's had 7 touchdowns. Colton Henry, running back and linebacker, 546 yards rushing, 11 touchdowns, 102 tackles on defense, 16.5 for loss. And Luke Treese also is a good, I think he's actually some of the time quarterback. But
yeah, he comes in quarterback some, 11 passing TDs, 4 rushing TDs, kicker too, 66 PATs.
And
as you mentioned, Colton Henry, good running back, linebacker.
Yeah, they've got a lot of folks that go both ways and do a good job doing it.
Romel Conlon, 41 catches, 817 yards, 11 touchdowns. He's a big, tall kid.
Exactly.
He's got some wingspan on him. You mentioned Eli Roberts.
Exactly. Wide receiver and defensive back, 30 catches, 765 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions.
Defensively as well, Brock Jones, Eli Justice, Connor Conlon, Braden Burgess, offensive lineman.
That's a big fella for single A. That's a big fella for anywhere in the high school ranks, 6'3", 260.
The Yellow Jackets on a 7-game winning streak coming in.
They certainly are.
Go to Clay County. As you mentioned, they defeated Gordonsville twice this year, Clay County, and beat them last week, 41-6. So the Yellow Jackets are going to have their hands full as they try to get back to the state championship. Their last only visit, I think, was 2014.
Exactly.
We had Peyton Tinker in here, Wartburg's middle school coach. He was on that team.
Oh, yeah, that is right. And Cofield is averaging 49.7 points per game since losing to Gordonsville 42-21 on September 23rd. Cofield has made 35 playoff appearances, with its lone title game showing in 2014. 12 wins by Cofield has tied the school record for most wins in a single season. So, rather interesting.
Yeah, they won 12 and one more to give them the school record and put them in the state championship.
That would be nice, I tell you.
Clay County, though, that's up around the Kentucky border up there, ain't up in the sort of middle Tennessee out that way. But Clay County is 11-1, or excuse me, they're 12-1 coming into this game. So,
and the Bulldogs have allowed just 12 points combined in 3 playoff games, and only 2 opponents this season have scored more than 14 against them. Clay County has never played in a state championship And Gordonsville, which beat Coalfield in September, which we talked about a little while ago, by 21, lost twice to Clay County this season, including the one you talked about a little bit earlier, 41-6 last week.
Mm-hmm. So it'll be a tough game for the Yellow Jackets. Good luck to them. They went down to South Pitt a few years ago, and so they're battle tested, you know. So.
Yeah, I remember you and Brad talking a few weeks ago, or over the course of the year, South Pittsburgh. A lot of folks said we're the ones to beat, but they're out of it this time.
Yeah, I saw where Oliver Springs is going to maybe pick them up on their schedule next couple of years. I was reading something.
That would battle test them for sure.
Yeah, Oliver Springs, you know, they're a very young team, and you know, they're going to be a team to watch here next year and the next couple of years, you know, or even 3, you know.
I think from the start of the season, they probably improved probably better than any team I've seen around here.
And they made it to the state quarterfinals. That's quite an achievement.
It certainly is. After losing the first 4 games and it looking quite bleak for them to start off with.
Going up to 2A, it was York 35, Monterey 21. And they will play Tyner. Tyner defeated East Robertson 35-7. So the York Dragons 9-4, traveling to Chattanooga to play Tyner. And Tyner's 12-1. They're only lost to Alcoa. So it's going to be a test there for York.
Yeah, York is amazing me how well they're doing in the playoffs. I don't think they're going to win that game, but to get to where they're at is quite an amazing accomplishment.
Yeah, I wonder what the rundown on them. It's probably been a while since they've been to the
I'd say so.
We got a call. Let's take it. Locker room chat, you're on the air.
Well, what's up, Sleepy? It's Cody.
What's up? Who's this?
Cody.
Cody. How you doing, Cody?
I'm ready for basketball season. What about you?
Well, basketball season started.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing the Dragons. How are the Dragons this year?
Well, the Dragons, they are, I know they defeated Powell last Saturday, and they lost last night to Gatlinburg Pittman.
Well, yeah, they beat Powell. Powell has all their football players still playing. That's not a shocker.
Well, Powell beat Anderson County last night without those players. But Anderson County's missing some players as well.
Yeah, so.
How about your Wildcats?
Man,
how's Oak Ridge doing?
Our first game we won by 40. Second game we won by 30. Third game we won by 20.
Who y'all playing?
We played Clark County today. We play? We played York Institute, a Final Four team from last year in 1A. We beat them by 40. I forgot who we played the second game.
Yeah, here Oak Ridge, you've been telling me they're going to be pretty good.
Oh, they're going to be. I don't know. I want to. Me personally, I want to say they're going to be phenomenal, but no, we're keeping expectations pretty, low. But Coach Green said in an interview that, he doesn't know the ceiling yet for this team, and that's a good thing because this is one of the deepest teams he's had in a while. Like, he could probably play 15 men if he wanted to. That's how deep they are. So
y'all play Fulton this year?
We do play Fulton.
I seen Fulton play last week, and man, they were good. They got about everybody back, I think, except one player, and Fulton may go undefeated.
Well, we'll see about that. I think Oak Ridge has something to say about that. Because, like I said, Oak Ridge has 15 man deep if they wanted to.
put a lot of pressure on Jody Wright, but this Fulton Falcons team, they went to the state semis last year, and of course they got about everybody back except one player, and you got the Kimber twins, and yeah, Fulton.
I was telling Cox I thought they were better than what the Knox News articles were giving them out to be. I don't even think they placed them in the top players in Knox. So
That'd be a good game. Oak Ridge and Fulton, they usually play.
last year I had a feeling Fulton beat us because we weren't as athletic last year. We were still a good team, but not as athletic as Fulton. This year, Oak Ridge has it all.
Oak Ridge is
length.
Y'all are young, aren't you?
Oh, well, that's the thing. We're quote unquote young, but we have 4 seniors. But majority of our players that are getting playing time are sophomores or freshmen.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. That's why I'm saying like this could be like a potentially 15-man rotation because everyone is good. So we'll see. I'm excited to see what happens.
Right, Oak Ridge, yeah, they should be one of the teams to beat, I guess, in 4A.
We'll win district. We'll win district, but region's always tough. So we'll see. I know Clem's going to struggle this year.
I haven't heard about Bearden. I don't know what they have.
It'll be Bearden and Oak Ridge as usual in the region championship, unless Carnes or Powell surprise us. So.
Carnes, I saw where Carnes, they beat Science Hill pretty bad the other day. John Higgins. Higgins come back. Higgins come back to Farragut and gave him a rude awakening.
Yeah, Carnes is. Wait, who returned to Farragut?
What's that?
What did you say about Farragut? Higgins? What?
Yeah, that's where they played at. Carnes beat Science Hill in a tournament there at Farragut, and of course that's where Higgins used to coach, and they blew Science Hill out, and Carnes is going to play Fulton, I think, Friday, so it should be a good game.
Yeah, it will. Carnes, it'll either be Carnes or Powell to throw in Oak Ridge, because Carnes returns everybody.
Right.
Powell, they return a couple players, mostly Aiden Green, best football player and probably the best basketball player out there for them. So we'll see. I'm interested to see what happens to our Wildcats.
What happened to the Wildcats last week against Powell?
Oh, man, Powell's just better. I mean, what do you want me to say? They're just better than us. Nothing to say. Our offense just can't keep up, so we'll see what happens in the offseason.
Yeah.
I'm looking for some interesting switch-ups in the offseason, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I thought that game might be a little bit closer.
Nah, I told Jonathan Cox and Queener I didn't think it would be close. The week before, Oak Ridge played Powell. Oak Ridge is like the most penalized team in the region. That's not an overstatement. That's just a fact. They weren't disciplined. Their offense isn't that good. We're a primarily running team. It is what it is. But I expect them to be a whole lot better next year. A whole lot better.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to baseball. I think if you want my honest opinion, I think we can make a state run in basketball, maybe Final Four. Because, like Coach Green said, this is one of the deepest teams he's ever had. One of the deepest teams he's ever had at Oak Ridge. Like the ceiling, he doesn't know the ceiling for this team, and that's a good thing. Like we don't know how good they can be. As I just told you, the first 3 games they've won by 40, 30, and 20. So
you're right. Okay, we got another. Appreciate you calling in. I got another call, and we got a few minutes left here in the show.
Hey, Sleepy, I'm looking forward to beating your Clinton Dragons. Go Wildcats.
Well, I know the Dragons beat you last year, so take that. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. The Dragons beat Oak Ridge last year.
Hello.
Welcome in, chat. You're on the air.
Hi, Sleepy.
Yeah.
I
Anthony?
Cofield gonna win this week, though.
You picking Cofield?
Yeah, I am.
Well, I hope they do.
I hope they do.
What about Anderson County? You think they'll win?
Yeah, and I think Powell's gonna win too.
Think Powell's gonna beat West?
Yeah, I do.
I don't know if anybody beat West. West might be the best team in all of high school football.
You never know, though.
I'll never know.
All right, bye.
You watching the balls?
No, I'm watching your show.
Oh.
Come on now.
All right, thank you.
Good. You're welcome.
I'm going to beat you in fantasy football, too. All right.
No, you are not.
We'll see.
Again. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Guess we got a few picks to make.
Yeah, we got a few picks here before we go. We was at 2A, so let's go ahead and start all over here, Walter. Cofield at Clay County, both teams 12-1.
I'll go with Cofield.
Going Cofield. Wow. Okay. You went undefeated last week.
Yeah, only time in history
You
so
went
far.
13-0. Walter went 13-0 on his picks last week.
That's one time 13 was a lucky number.
I'm going to take Clay County, the Bulldogs, at home. Don't know much about them. They beat Gordonsville twice, and Gordonsville beat Cofield, so I hope Cofield wins. I hope I'm wrong, but I'll take Clay County. In 2A, it's York 9-4 at Tyner 12-1. I think York's Cinderella season's going to end, and the Dragons are going to go down, and I'll take Chattanooga Tyner.
Yeah, I hate to go against the Dragons team because we are Dragons on our end, but I go with Tyner.
Alcoa 12-1 at Giles County 10-3. As you mentioned earlier, Alcoa going for their 8th straight state championship.
They certainly are, and I pick Alcoa to do a rerun on Giles County.
These two teams played last year in the semis, and Alcoa won 42-12.
Yep.
When's Alcoa going to move up? Well, it's got to be boring to keep winning state championships.
They need to go to 6A or maybe make it a 7A somehow.
They could play in 6A. 4A, Anderson County 13-0 at Red Bank 11-2. What you got?
I think Anderson County will burst Red Bank's bubble of the 10.2 points per game.
I'm looking for the Mavericks to win 13-0. Like Coach Keefe said, he picked them to win the state when he was in with us, and I got to say I agree with him now. Looks like the Mavericks on their way, but you got to do it on the field, so got to jump off that cloud nine and show up at Red Bank. It won't be easy.
Yeah, after you beat Greenville, after they beat you 7 straight times, just get ready to beat Red Bank.
I'll take AC. West 13-0 at Powell 11-2.
I'm picking West, even though I think it's going to be a close one. Powell will finally lose the game.
Yeah, West is going to win this game. Powell's won 11 straight, but defending state champs, but West is the future state champs. I'll take the Rebels. And Maryville 10-3, traveling to Oakland 12-1. These teams have met a lot last 3 or 4 years, but Oakland's going to end the Rebels season again.
Yeah, I'm picking Oakland. I didn't even have one to pick because I thought it would be so close, but I'm picking Oakland as well.
Okay, that's going to do it here for Locker Room Chat, and I'd like to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Be thankful for everything. So for Chandler in the back, for Walter, I'm John Williams. We'll see you next week on the Locker Room Chat.